In this case, we have clearly seen that skill subject has gone and replaced mathematics in first 5. Mathematics has come down and skill subject has gone up. Sanskrit, and what example he was giving कि अगर science में marks कम आ गए हैं तो संस्कृत science को replace कर देगा, which is not the case. That is the reason we had to make this video. So we are going to prove this, the percentage calculation criteria and how the percentage is to be calculated with help of authentic proofs issued by CBSE. We are going to take help of CBSE circulars. We are going to take help of the DMCs issued by CBSE. Even some might not be having knowledge of this. Science, mathematics, and social science are called 3 compulsory academic subjects, and the remaining 2 are the languages in first 5. Skill subject 3 कंपल्सरी में से किसी एक सब्जेक्ट को रिप्लेस कर देगा जिसमें बच्चा फेल होगा, बट अगर बच्चा फेल नहीं होगा तो रिप्लेसमेंट नहीं होगा.
And we need not to replace. It is written very clearly there. It will be computed accordingly. It will be computed by CBSE system itself.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right.
We need not to replace any subject. Actually,
so the replacement of 3 compulsory subject is with the skill subject, which is 6th optional, and replacement of languages. If any student fails in first 2 languages, any of the first 2 languages, then that can be replaced by the 7th optional subject, which is again a language. So language only can replace a language, not the skill subject. They can consider any 3 out of 4, which subjects? 3 compulsory subjects, which are 3, 4, and 5, mathematics, science, and social science, and 6th, which is skill subject. So out of these 4, best 3 can be considered for calculation of percentage, provided student has passed in all 4 of these. But here, hello friends, especially the students of class 10th and 12th, जिनका result अभी recently CBSE ने declare किया है, their parents, their teachers, and principals. Today, I'm going to talk about a very serious issue which is hot and burning right now. That is calculation of result for standard 10th, calculation of percentage of result. Rather, I should be very particular about it, because there is a doubt when we talk about the result of 12th standard. Then we say that we should take best 5 subjects for calculation of result. Suppose if any student has opted for 6 or 7 subjects, then for 12th standard, we take best 5 subjects for 12th standard for calculation of result. But when it comes to 10th standard, then there is a lot of confusion. Some people say that we should take best 5. Some say no, vocational subjects or the skill subject can replace any of the subjects, which is the skill subject is actually 6th subject offered by a school to the students. Some say the 7th subject, which is language, can replace any of the top 5 subjects. So there is a lot of confusion. Many schools, they go for best 5 and declare their result, the percentage of the students. Because of that, there is some inflation in the percentage. There are many schools who replace the main subjects or the languages also with the skill subject. There are many schools who replace any of the first 5 with the languages, 7th language also. And there are many YouTubers who are there to make the situation even worse, who don't know anything about the school education, who don't know anything about CBSE, who do not read the CBSE circulars, but still make the videos about the calculation of percentage and create even more confusion in the mind of students, parents, teachers, and principals. So today, to put a full stop on this confusion for once and all, I have with me one of my close friends, Mr. Roji Thomas. He is the principal at Gyansh Global School, Dhuri. He is a very learned man and very meticulous and particular about all the circulars of CBSE. He reads all the circulars in depth, and we often keep discussing about the problems and issues raised because of some language which is confusing in these circulars. So yesterday I was discussing with him about this percentage calculation of 10th standard. Then during our discussion, we came to know that it needs to be clarified. There is actually a confusion, and that confusion has to be cleared for the good of all the students, all the parents, all the teachers, and even the principals of CBSE affiliated schools. So I welcome my dear friend, Mr. Rosie Thomas. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Rasik sir. Thank you very much.
I'm glad that
I was
you
also
found. Yeah.
I'm also very glad to be part of your video today because the issue which is raised is very serious.
Absolutely.
Because the percentage calculation is always an issue. When most of the schools do it in the logical way of calculating the first five subjects, some schools are there, those who do not do it the right way. Instead, they replace one or two. In some cases, it is two. Replace one or two subjects by the additional subjects, thereby showing that the percentage scored is higher. To this, I have some proofs for that. So first of all, we will pick a circular. Rasik sir, if you have, you can share that.
Yeah. I will share the screen. We are going to prove this, the percentage calculation criteria and how the percentage is to be calculated with help of authentic proofs issued by CBSE. Yes. We are going to take help of CBSE circulars. We are going to take help of the DMCs issued by CBSE. So we are not going to talk in here. हवा में बात नहीं करेंगे like many YouTubers they do. वो खुद ही कुछ figures लेके उसकी calculation करके बता देते हैं. I just saw one YouTuber. He had mentioned 5 subjects on top, and seventh subject he has mentioned as संस्कृत. And what example he was giving कि अगर साइंस में मार्क्स कम आ गए हैं तो संस्कृत साइंस को रिप्लेस कर देगा, which is not the case. That is the reason we had to make this video. So I'm going to share my screen and we will come to the
the circular issued regarding registration of 9th and +1. Yeah, that.
This is the circular. I'll just first of all.
Can you please show the circular number and also? So
yes. I'm going to show that.
This is circular.
This circular
issued on
8th of June. It was issued.
8th of June. Yeah.
It is related to submission of
June. Submission of LOC and it was submission of LOC. Okay.
Yeah.
Now the annexure F of that. In annexure F, the CBSE has very clearly.
Just a minute. This is the annexure. We are talking about scheme of studies.
Scheme of studies. Yeah.
Page number 14 of this circular. Important instructions. And these are points A, B, and C. I think we should read all these points first and then we can discuss.
Yeah.
I'll just read point
the first one first.
Yeah. Point A says, if a student fails in any one of the 3 compulsory academic subjects. What are 3 compulsory academic subjects? Even some might not be having knowledge of this. Science, mathematics, and social science are called 3 compulsory academic subjects. And the remaining 2 are the languages in first 5. If a student fails in any of the 3 compulsory subjects and passes in the skill subject, which is 6th optional subject, it can be IT or it can be any other skill subject, then that particular compulsory subject will be replaced by the skill subject. Compulsory subject out of these 3 will be replaced by that skill subject which has been opted as 6th optional subject. And result of class 10 board examination will be computed accordingly. Means the student will be called pass. Student को fail नहीं बोलेंगे. In that case, student pass हो जाएगा. Skill subject 3 compulsory में से किसी एक subject को replace कर देगा जिसमें बच्चा fail होगा. But अगर बच्चा fail नहीं होगा तो replacement नहीं होगा. तो skill additional में ही count होगा.
If a student fails, actually we have to, whenever we get circulars, we have to go word by word. There are so many meanings hidden in the words. So here it is written very clearly, if a student fails. So in that case, logically, we can replace only if the student fails. And we need not to replace, it is written very clearly there, it will be computed accordingly. It will be computed by CBSE system itself.
Absolutely right. Absolutely
We
right.
need not to replace any subject. Actually, after this circular, we will be discussing one mark sheet also, detailed mark list of the students where a subject is replaced by skill subject. That also we can see later. But here the
We'll see.
point is, we can replace only if the student fails. We cannot. Here it is not mentioned. You can take the best 5. Similarly, if we coming to the next point, B, there
Point.
the same thing is written regarding languages.
Absolutely.
Let
me read it. Let me read it once. If a student fails, again, the word is fails in any language subject out of first 5 subjects. So 3 compulsory subjects, which we have already mentioned, science, mathematics, and social science, and 2 languages that make first 5 subjects. The same will be replaced by language taken as 7th subject, which is optional. So the replacement of 3 compulsory subject is with the skill subject, which is 6th optional, and replacement of languages. If any student fails in first 2 languages, any of the first 2 languages, then that can be replaced by the 7th optional subject, which is again a language. So language only can replace a language, not the skill subject. Provided he or she has passed 7th language, obviously 7th pass karega to hi wo replace karega. And after replacement, either Hindi or English remains as past language in first 5 subjects. तो जो language होगा वो first 5 में चला जाएगा additional वाला, जहां पे बच्चा fail हुआ है वो 5 main में से additional में आ जाएगा नीचे. Then there is point C also. Do we need to explain this also?
No
I don't think so. I don't think so. These 2 points are only, these 2 points are only there.
These 2 points are very clear. A subject, compulsory subjects, science, mathematics, and social science can be replaced by the 6th subject, and first 2 languages, either English and Hindi, can be replaced by the 7th subject if that is a language. That is also there. If the 7th subject is a language, then only it can replace.
Absolutely.
Can be replaced.
So we can share one example. We'll discuss example.
Yeah.
In this example, yes, it can be clearly seen that the student could not qualify in mathematics. So student has scored 26 marks in mathematics. He could not qualify mathematics. So mathematics has come down in the list of additional subjects. It is not showing in first 5 subjects because the student could not clear it. Whereas the subject code 402, information technology, which was actually 6th additional subject, has moved up in the list of first 5 subjects, and the result has been declared pass for this student.
That's pass. Yeah. And right. Actually, this document, it is actually the DMC issued by CBSE. It's not just a table.
Yes.
Can you zoom out, sir? Can you zoom out and show just without me?
I didn't want to show the particulars of the student. I actually didn't want to show that.
Okay. This DMC, this detailed mark list, is actually issued. It is downloaded from the CBSE website.
This can be verified from this CBSE also. Yeah, it can be verified from the bottom also. This is a CBSE issued.
Yeah, student is failed in mathematics, and in that.
Please unmute. Please unmute yourself. Yes,
in that case, mathematics is replaced by information technology.
Yes.
It's very good. It's a lottery for the student, but now mathematics will not be considered as a subject for that student in class 10.
Actually, absolutely right. Now, in this case, had the student passed in mathematics with 33 marks also, there would not have any replacement with IT. It would not have been replaced with IT had the student passed mathematics. Suppose अगर यहाँ पे student के 33 marks होते मैथमेटिक्स में और IT के 72 ही होते, फिर भी ये रिप्लेसमेंट नहीं होता. Mathematics would have reflected here, and IT would have reflected
would remain additional subject.
Absolutely.
additional subject.
So this criteria of formation of report card has been well thought of by CBSE. For a purpose only, CBSE has kept some subjects in the list of additional subjects. It has not included them in the first five में ये include नहीं हो रहे हैं. The reason is only this, that CBSE wishes to say that there should be some uniformity. For the sake of uniformity, we have to consider first 5 subjects for calculation of percentage. In case a student fails in any of the 3 compulsory subjects, then for the sake of passing the student, it can be replaced with the skill subject, right?
Yeah.
But
that is the logical reasoning.
Absolutely. Now, I would like to elaborate this with one more example. We were discussing about uniformity issue. There is one more circular. I think in the same circular, CBSE talks about the percentage to be decided by the organization where the child takes admission.
The next page which we are discussing,
right.
it is the 15th page.
Okay, fine. I'll go to that page. I have highlighted this also. Yes, this is what board says about calculation of percentage. I had already highlighted it. I'll just reread this point so that it becomes clear to everybody. Board issues mark sheet cum certificate indicating marks obtained in each subject separately. Means they want to say we don't do any total of the marks. We don't show any percentage in the DMC purposefully. We don't go for percentage. No aggregate score or percentage is mentioned by board. Candidates who take 6 or 7 subjects and pass in all 6 and 7 subjects, the percentage is to be calculated according to the norms of college or institution in which the candidate is seeking admission. Suppose after clearing 10th, if you want to change your school and you need to go to some other school, then that school will decide which subjects that school is going to count for calculation of percentage. So it is the prerogative of the school where you are seeking admission, not of the school from where you have passed out. It is clear by CBSE. And this becomes even more important. Like I would like to cite my own school's example over here. We offer some special concession to the students who seek admission in +1 based upon their performance in 10th standard in terms of percentage. Now, suppose if I get 2 students, one of them has studied in a school where there were only 5 subjects on offer. There were no additional subjects. So the student has studied 3 compulsory subjects and 2 languages, right? That student has scored 89%. But there comes and his score in suppose mathematics is 40, Hindi 50, mathematics, science and social science 40, 50 and 60. But there is one more student who has studied in some other school where there was additional subject also, and he scored 80 in IT, whereas in mathematics, science and social science his score was less than student A. So the student B will obviously get more percentage if we consider IT for the replacement criteria. Why am I talking about IT replacing 3 compulsory subjects? We will give reference to one more circular of CBSE, which is the recent circular, and in which CBSE has said that it is possible to replace 3 compulsory subjects with the skill subjects for calculation of percentage only. So in that case, student A who has scored more in compulsory subjects but does not have any additional subject will not be offered concession which is to be offered to a student who is scoring 90%, whereas the student B who has scored less marks in compulsory subjects but has scored more marks in additional subjects will be offered concession if we do not keep uniformity. So being the host school where the student is seeking admission, I have to maintain uniformity. So I will definitely go for the first 5 subjects, keeping in mind that students have passed in all 5 subjects. Obviously, if student has failed in one of the first 5, then the situation will change. But for the sake of uniformity, I will definitely tell both the students, see, beta, I have to consider 2 languages, mathematics, science and social science, and we will calculate percentage out of that only. And because of that, if you are eligible for concession, you will get concession. If not, I'm not going to count the additional subject into that. Right, sir?
Okay. No,
Now
that
we
is
will
clear.
see.
And one more thing.
Hmm.
One more thing here, sir. Here in this point, actually in point I, CBSE has not asked anybody to consider the best 5 subjects here.
Absolutely.
They have
Absolutely.
said either you can consider it as out of 6 or out of 7 subjects. Normally,
Yes.
we calculate the maximum mark as 500. CBSE examination, class 10 examination is out of 500. So here they are giving, if you give admission, you may consider it out of 600 or 700 according to the college or institution, their norms.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right.
Here also they have not mentioned to take the best 5 subjects.
Yes,
One more point to add to it. CBSE itself, when they mentioned their toppers, recently today I was looking at the performance of Navodaya students. Where 497 is the topper. 497 means that is out of 500. 497 out of 500 is the topper.
Right.
So that is the point. It should be out of 500 only without any replacement. Let's move to the next one.
So on this slide, it is very clear. CBSE has not given any reference to best 5. So now we will go to this one more important circular, which has been issued recently by CBSE. I'll first show you the date of the circular. It has been issued on 2nd of January. Here is the date, 2nd of January 2023, in this year itself. And it is issued by the skill department. The circular number also says skill 01. And when we go down, the signatory is also Director Skill Education, Dr. Biswajit Saha. So it is not issued by examination department, not with the signature of Dr. Sanyam Bhardwaj, but by the skill department with the signature of Director Skill Education. Now this circular first time talks about the percentage. Here it says, if a student studies 3 compulsory subjects, science, mathematics, and social science, and chooses to study a skill subject offered as 6th optional subject, then the aggregate of best 5, including 2 languages, and the best 3 subjects from subjects 3, 4, 5, and 6, including skill subject, can be considered for calculation of percentage by the school. So for the first time, CBSE has mentioned that the school from where the student is passing, they can consider any 3 out of 4. Which subjects? 3 compulsory subjects, which are 3, 4, and 5, mathematics, science, and social science, and 6th, which is skill subject. So out of these 4, best 3 can be considered for calculation of percentage, provided student has passed in all 4 of these. But here CBSE has not given to the given reference to the language. What is to be done in case the student fails in any of the subject, these skill subjects, compulsory subjects, but passes in language. This reference is given in the previous circular, which we have already said. If a student fails in compulsory subjects, but passes in additional 7th language, that language cannot replace the compulsory subjects, right? And now for percentage, CBSE says out of these 4, we can pick best 3 for calculation of percentage. But CBSE does not talk about 7th optional subject. That 7th optional subject can also be considered in this case. Suppose, like I was giving example of that YouTuber who said that if a student has scored less marks in science and has scored more marks in Sanskrit, which is 7th language, then Sanskrit will replace science for calculation of percentage. That is wrong. Sanskrit cannot replace a compulsory subject for calculation of percentage because it is not as per this circular also. This circular does not talk about language to be considered for calculation of percentage if the student passes in first 5 subjects. Right, sir?
Yes, yes, yes. Absolutely right. And
so I will show you one more example of one more result card. Here, if you see in this result card,
okay.
The 6th additional subject is not offered by the school. Punjabi is 7th optional language.
Okay.
Right. So this has come in the category of additional subject. So had the student not cleared, suppose student had failed in mathematics over here. Here the child is scoring 68. But if he would have scored 26 marks in mathematics, the language would not have replaced that. Because the replacement
Definitely.
of 3 compulsory subjects is only possible with the skill subject, which is 6th optional subject. Right?
Yes.
Now, for calculation of, then if the 7th subject language cannot replace any of the skill subjects, even if the student fails in that, then how can this be considered for calculation of percentage? If the student is scoring more marks in language, 7th subject, but scoring less in the 3 compulsory subjects. Here it is clearly seen the student has scored 68 in mathematics, 54 in science, 81 in social science. All 3 are less than 84, which he has scored in the 7th subject. But because this subject cannot replace any of these subjects, even if the student fails, I do believe that this cannot be considered for calculation of percentage also.
Yes, yes.
Because in
this method is absolutely
because in this circular
method.
also CBSE has not mentioned about the language to be considered for calculation of percentage. They have mentioned skill subject can be considered for calculation of percentage, but not the language. They only say if a student subject also, they only say that student can opt for the language. They have not mentioned that language can be considered for calculation of percentage.
Language can be replaced by language only.
Absolutely. Had the student failed in English or in Hindi by chance, had the student failed over here, 26 marks he would have scored over here in English, then his 84 marks of Punjabi would have been calculated. Punjabi would have rather gone to the first 5 subjects, like we saw in this case. In this case, we have clearly seen that skill subject has gone and replaced mathematics in first 5. Mathematics has come down and skill subject has gone up. Right? But in this case, where we are talking about Punjabi as additional subject, here if the student would have failed in any of the language, suppose English में fail हो जाता, तो पंजाबी के marks ऊपर चले जाते, English यहाँ पे नीचे additional में आ जाता, तब भी हम लोग top 5 को calculate करते, not the best 5. Right? So I believe we are on the same page that once we have to calculate the percentage of 10th standard students, all of us should prefer first 5 subjects which are mentioned in the DMC, should not go for best 5. If we want to consider skill subject for calculation of percentage, then we can consider it with subject number 3, 4 and 5 only: mathematics, science, social science. So out of 3 compulsory and skill, mathematics, science, social science and skill, out of these 4 we can take best 3 for calculation of percentage. But that too, because there is a catch, the circular has been issued by skill department, not by the examination department. So examination department still has to verify this, that okay, we also endorse this fact. Yeah,
that is a point. Actually, sir, one more point. This circular, this scheme of studies, it has been circulated every year.
before
Yes.
submission of LOC by the CBSE. I have all the record of all the circulars, last 3-4 years circular. I have personally verified just before few minutes of this meeting, okay, whether I am right or wrong. Okay, so in all those circulars, it is very clearly mentioned if the students fails. And second point is we need not to do any corrections there. We need not to replace. CBSE themselves replace it at the DMC.
Absolutely right. Absolutely. We have already seen in example.
Yeah, it is in examples we have already seen. And this circular, the recent circular that was issued on 2nd of January by the skill education, it needs to be verified and sanctioned by director of academics. Examination, sorry.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because that circular issued by the examination department says percentage calculation is the prerogative of the school where the student is seeking admission. They have to decide out of 6 or 7 subjects, how do they want to calculate the percentage? Whether they want to calculate percentage out of 600, or they want to calculate percentage out of 700, or they want to calculate percentage out of 500. It is their prerogative. But there also, CBSE has not advised them to take best 5.
No, never.
That is very much clear.
No, that is very much clear. And the point is actually, sir, why some schools, I don't say all the schools are doing it, why some schools are doing it so? So they know it already that only the first 5 subjects have to be calculated for the percentage. They know it already. The principals or fellow principals also know it. Even then, why do they do it? The question is that if you don't delete it from my video, I will give a statement. This is actually cheating. This is cheating with the parents.
Yeah, wrong practice.
That is wrong practice. Actually, they want to show to the public that our academic results is very high. Okay, by doing so, the students who are actually lying in the 85 to 90 line, they also come above the 90 line.
Absolutely. And result becomes inflated.
Inflated results. That is not genuine. That's not genuine results. So to public, they show we got 50, 90 plus students, 40, 90 plus students. What is the use? Actually, students know themselves that this is not the genuine percentage.
Now see, like the
percentage is calculated out of 500.
Absolutely.
It's the first 5 subjects only.
Got it. Now I will share one example with you. Suppose a school has given the DMC to the student and declared that my student has scored 92% marks, keeping skill subject in mind. Best 5 out of 6. The student had opted for skill subject. In that subject, he scored 95, but in some other compulsory subject, he scored in 80s. So percentage was calculated keeping best 5 criteria in mind. So student's percentage was told to him that you have scored 92%. Now I offer concession above 90. And if the student will come to me, I'll say, sorry, I will not calculate your skill subject for the percentage criteria. I'll go for first 5. And according to that, his percentage is 89%. Then who cheated that student? Who has cheated that student?
That is the question.
Absolutely.
That is the question. It is not that you cheated that because you are going with the logic point.
Absolutely.
The schools who gave the result scored 92%, they actually cheated.
Now for the other students also, you see the students who worked very hard. Okay, because 7th, 6th and 7th subjects are optional. It's not mandatory. In the same school also, a student can opt for only 5 subjects, whereas the others are opting for 6th and 7th also. It is students and the parents' choice, right? Now in the same school, a student who has opted for only 5 subjects could score 89 marks, 89% marks based on those 5 only. He does not have any additional. But his fellow student, because he studied a skill subject, he has scored 92% marks. Whereas the total of first 5 of both the students, when we compare, the first one has got 89%, the second one has got 86%. Just because of skill subject, he has scored in 90s, and his result will be highlighted everywhere. He will be declared first in the school.
Maybe he has scored 33.
Maybe he might have scored 33 in mathematics
In mathematics.
and 80 in IT. 80
Even
marks
then,
in IT.
even then, yes.
Even then,
Because
he will be highlighted as a top scorer.
the one who actually
So
worked hard for his 5 main subjects, poor fellow, did not get any mention anywhere in the newspapers or on the social media or in the advertisement of the school. And the one who scored more in skill subjects, less in compulsory subject, has got edge and advantage over that real hard-working fellow. We were discussing this also in IT. 50 marks are for the practical only. So 50 marks are kind of given free to the student. CBSE's passing criteria is 33. Overall 33. Means if a student scores 10 marks in theory and 23 in practical, he passes the exam, right? So in this skill subject, where already 50 marks are of practical or assessment only, the student will get, even if he get 40 out of 50 or 33 out of 15 assessment, he's passed.
he's already passed.
He scores passed. 0 in theory, even then he's passed.
He's passed.
Then how can we keep these two students at par? The one who has worked hard and passed in compulsory subject, and the one who has not worked hard but has been given marks by the school as gift. How can these two be kept at par for the sake of uniformity? How can a school which offers admission in +1 keep these two students at par? I think it will be injustice with the one who has worked hard.
Injustice and illogical. There is no logic behind.
Yeah. So I am very happy that we are on the same page. I believe after watching this video, all the doubts of all the students and teachers and parents will be clear. Even the school leaders, like you were saying, no, that why do schools go for this kind of inflated results? I do believe that all might not be doing it intentionally. Some might be doing it out of ignorance also. Like we have quoted the CBSE circulars and given examples issued by CBSE. But there are schools and school leaders who unfortunately miss the circulars or who don't go through the circulars properly. Like in the introduction also, I have mentioned that my friend goes through each and every circular very minutely and keeps a record of each and every circular. Even for this video, I requested Roji sir only, sir, please provide me the circulars so that I can give reference. Otherwise, I would have to search through my folders to find the circulars or the CBSE website. So he has read all these circulars. I had read these circulars. So we were on the same page. We were sure that best 5 is not the criteria for calculation of percentage of result. The ones who have not read the circulars or who have casually read the circulars, not well, they might not be aware also. So they are doing it unknowingly, out of ignorance. I believe after watching this video, they will get knowledge about calculation of percentage, and none of the school leaders will show any inflated results where the parents or the student might feel cheated in future कि हमारे साथ धोखा हुआ, हमारे स्कूल ने तो हमें बोला कि आपकी परसेंटेज इतनी आई है, जब हम आगे गए दूसरे स्कूल में उन्होंने बोला सॉरी जी आपने गलत कैलकुलेट किया, आपकी परसेंटेज तो कम है, right? And all the students will also be able to themselves calculate their actual percentage. Based on that, they will go for the higher studies. Right, sir?
Right, sir. Right.
So I must thank you for taking out valuable time out of your busy schedule. I know today you are even busy than the normal working days because of some nature also. But anyhow, I'm happy that for the cause of for the cause of students and for the cause of their parents, teachers and all, you have come out with these concrete evidences from CBSE itself, and we could discuss and clarify how to calculate the percentage of 10th standard. I would just like to give a brief and sum up this whole thing. For if we keep that skill education circular in mind, which is doubtful, then in that case, subject number 3, 4 and 5 can be considered at par with subject number 6, mathematics, science, social science and skill subject. Out of these 4, you can take any best 3 if student has passed in all 4 for calculation of percentage. But you cannot take language in this category. You cannot replace language with any of the three compulsory subjects for calculation of result. Means you cannot keep mathematics, science, social science, and Punjabi or Sanskrit and take best
And
three
the
out of
same.
these four. Best three out of these four.
This
This
is
is
not
not
right.
advisable. And best five is not at all advisable. Best five is not at all
Not at all.
advisable because it is not mentioned anywhere. Anywhere.
It
So
is first
please, all
five.
those,
It's to,
it is always first
it
five.
is
We
first
should go for
five,
first five. We should go for
not the
first
best
five for
five.
calculation of result, right? And and in case of schools which offer concession based on percentage, they have even this right to discard first five also. Suppose if a student has got less mark, failed in mathematics, like the DMC which we showed, but he has passed in information technology. I'll share that screen once again because this is important. Last point. This one. Suppose I am offering concession for 90%. Student has failed in mathematics and passed in information technology. Based on that, his percentage is 90%. Still, I have the right to deny that concession because of the sake of uniformity. The other students who are coming to me, they have passed mathematics and have scored 90%. But this student has not passed mathematics. He has passed information technology, which others may not have at all. So I cannot offer concession,
Yeah.
same concession to both of them, right? So this will again be the prerogative of the school where the student is seeking admission. I hope this video clears all the doubts, and for once and for all, people will come to know how to calculate percentage and will actually calculate percentage appropriately, will not do it for the sake of inflation of marks, and will not do it because they are not aware of this. And to all those YouTubers, I am also a YouTuber along with the principal. To
Yeah.
all those YouTubers who do not have knowledge about CBSE and CBSE affairs, who do not read CBSE circulars, who don't belong to any school, I request them with folded hands, please do not misguide the students and the parents. If you don't have knowledge, please first of all seek appropriate knowledge, and based on the evidences like we have shared, based on the evidences only make some videos, because your videos are watched by many and they get misguided, and later on they feel heartbroken and cheated, which you should not do. Actually, I request you, please consider authentic documents for making the videos. And I will request the audience also, my audience, those who are watching this video, please trust the authentic people, and the ones who quote authentic examples like us, than those YouTubers जो कभी खुद मुझे लगता है स्कूल गए नहीं है या स्कूल के साथ जिनका दूर दूर तक कोई वास्ता नहीं है, तो उनके वीडियो सीबीएसई से रिलेटेड आप कम फॉलो कीजिए। सीबीएसई से रिलेटेड कोई ऑथेंटिक पर्संस के वीडियोस फॉलो कीजिए। मेरे कर सकते हैं, मैं ऑथेंटिक ही बनाता हूँ नॉर्मली। राइट रोजी सर?
Very, very authentic, very authentic. You go circular by circular only.
Circular by circular. I actually explain the exact wording of the circulars. So I request my audience, अगर आपको ये वीडियो अच्छा लगा है, इंफॉर्मेटिव लगा है, ट्रू लगा है, और आपको आज पहली बार रिजल्ट 10th का कैसे परसेंटेज कैलकुलेट करते हैं वो आज पहली बार पता लगा है, तो प्लीज मेरे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब जरूर कर लीजिएगा और नोटिफिकेशन बेल का बटन भी जरूर दबा दीजिएगा। रोजी सर की तरफ से भी आप भी बोलिए एक बार।
If you have not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe and do press the bell icon so that you can get the notifications time to time.
And like this video, press like if you really got this, found this video informative, press the like button. You can share your opinion in comments. If you have any difference of opinion, I always respect the difference of opinion. Whatever we said in this circular, though we have quoted authentic documents, still if you have any difference in opinion or there is any query or issue, you can mention that in the comment box. Both of us will try to reply to your queries and would like to satisfy you if in case you have any doubts. Both of us will do this thing. Right, Roji sir? Commitment hai?
Yes, yes.
From your side, I've already committed.
Always. Yeah, I'm always committed to you.
And please share this video with all the students and teachers and the parents of the students who have passed 10th standard recently. Past wale bhi, in future bhi. Share this with all the students so that they are aware कि उनको अपनी 10th की percentage कैसे calculate करनी है. Share with all the teachers ताकि उनको भी पता चले कि उनको अपने स्टूडेंट्स की परसेंटेज कैसे कैलकुलेट करनी है। शेयर विद ऑल द पेरेंट्स आल्सो ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स ऑफ 10th, ताकि वो भी अवेयर हो जाएं, एंड विद द प्रिंसिपल्स आल्सो, लाइक वी सेड देयर इज अ पॉसिबिलिटी, स्ट्रॉन्ग पॉसिबिलिटी कि बहुत से प्रिंसिपल्स को भी पता नहीं होगा कि कैसे कैलकुलेट करनी है। तो आज ये वीडियो देख के उनको भी पता चल जाएगा। थैंक यू वेरी मच रोजी सर, आई एम रियली वेरी 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 थैंकफुल टू यू for finding time, helping me out.
Thank you very much. Yeah,
Take
thank
care.
you very
Bye
much
bye.
for including
Bye
me.
bye audience.